Well, guys, I got metal problems. It's to be expected. Anytime you got an old car, you're going to run into problems. If you're living in the Rust Belt, anywhere it snows, you're going to have a ton of metal problems, mostly rust problems. But I bought this thing for $1,200. I knew it was going to have some serious problems. If you look right here, this thing was hit from the side. It definitely had some repair work done. This was cut out with a cutting torch. It's terrible. It's horrible. When you go to start doing metal work, though, you got a couple of options. You can do the whole quarter panel, which, believe me, if you've never done one, it's not that much fun. It's not the worst thing in the world, but seriously, it's not fun. If you can save the panel, save the panel. The way you go about starting to kind of decide between the two is you got to get it back down to the bare metal. I took it down so I could see it, so I could see where all my Bondo is, see how far out until I get real metal, see what kind of rust holes you get. These lines here, so I went online, I found out who sells a panel and how big that panel is, and then I marked it out. So above the lip, it's about 6 1/4 high, so this line here, this is not too bad for metal, but if you look on this side, this is as far as it's going to go, and we're not even close to being done with the metal. This isn't even metal here yet. This is still Bondo, this is still Bondo, like, this thing's bad pretty far forward, and I have huge holes down here pretty far forward. So this side's junk. I can already tell you right now, I'm into a new quarter. But this is kind of helpful for this should be kind of helpful for anybody else that's trying to decide between patches and a quarter. Back here, there's a patch that goes all the way back. It's a pretty common rust spot for the El Camino. So if this area was okay, a patch panel was a serious option, but this goes out pretty bad, pretty far, and there already was a huge dent right here, which I hammered out. So I'm in a new panel. I guess if I really wanted to, I could patch it, but at some point, you count your losses and you do the whole panel. The other reason I'm doing a whole panel is because you won't be able to tell this on camera, but this entire quarter panel has been pushed in. It's flattened. They reworked it, and some of the work they've done on it, it looked good at a glance, but if you really got down to it, you'd see how bad it was. When I put my back half frame in this thing, I made sure I was completely square with the chassis and the frame and everything. What I didn't show you guys, though, is the distance between the inner lip and the actual new frame was 2 inches off on this side, to the point where I was positive the whole frame was bent, and it took me a while to realize what was going on. But this entire panel is kind of folded under, so it's pushed in quite a bit, which is also why I'm into a whole new quarter, so I can try and kind of pop it out where it's really supposed to be, get my body lines to at least be somewhat okay. And yeah, it's going to be a bunch of work. The other thing to think about as far as your quarter panel is they sell different amounts of the quarter panel. You can get one with the whole sail panel, which goes all the way up behind the window and everything. If that's all in good shape, I'd recommend not cutting that out and instead trying to like fold it in really nice. Again, I put a mark on there to see kind of where that line is. The line may not be perfect of where the old quarter is, but I know everything above it is perfect metal. So I'm going to do what they would call like an 80% or an 85% quarter panel. And I don't know how much of it I'm going to record because honestly a lot of it's tedious. I don't know if there's a lot of interest out there. Let me know in the comments. If you want to see me take this thing and cut this fender out, you know, or cut this quarter panel out and actually repair it, I will do some videos on it. It is a bit of a pain, but it's really not that big of a deal. And yeah, I'm actually not looking forward to it, but at the same time, it has to get done before this thing goes back on the road. And while it sucks I got to do the work, I always knew since the day I picked it up I'd have to. And it's not going to slow me down that much. I still have the roll cage to put in. I still have a ton of other stuff to put in. But I think the next step is probably to do a couple of videos on the Camino to catch you up what I've been doing with that, because the Camino is coming along really well. So I just thought I'd throw this quick video out, show you the problem I've run into, and I mean, it is a problem. This thing is just chewed up and awful, and the amount of flex in it is incredible. It's super weak, and it sucks. So yeah. If you do want to see some videos on me actually hanging a new quarter, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks.